Hello everyone and welcome back to The Farmer Was Replaced. And today we're going to carry on with our farm and automation obviously. So essentially in the previous episode what we got right is essentially kind of like a very basic navigation and planting some wood, bushes, and harvesting the bushes for some wood. Okay. Cool. So we need to check what is next on the list. Okay, so let's go to unlocks. Can we do? Yes, we can do a speed upgrade. Perfect. Okay, so now we need carrots for another speed upgrade, and we need 300 for grass yield. Okay, we'll just get that in any case. We need carrots also for the expand, so it means that probably we need carrots next. So let's have a look at carrots. Okay, so basically with carrots, before you can plant carrots with plant entities.carrots, you have to do two new things. First, carrots can only grow on tilled soil, so to till the soil simply call till. Calling till again will change it back to grounds.turf. Okay, cool. So we now have two different types of ground, either turf or soil. Okay, and then the second new feature is carrots need seeds to grow. You can buy carrot seeds with the new trade function. You have to pass an item type to trade like this. Okay, cool. If an item can be bought, then it will be bought with this. So you can see the cost of any item in this tooltip. The tooltip appears when you mouse over the item itself or the item name in the code. Okay. So let's stop this, but there's a few housekeeping things I also want to do. And essentially the first housekeeping item that I want to do is to basically get a movement to 0, 0. So basically a reset switch. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new function or a new class basically, and move to 0, 0. Let's do an underscore there, and we'll say while true. Then we'll say, okay, cool. If get position y is not equal to 0, then move north. So essentially, this will only move north if up until the point where the position y is 0. So essentially we can see it's not doing anything. If we do 1, for example, move north like so, and we do this now, see it stops there. Okay, then we need to check if we have a move north and move east like so. Okay, now we need to, now it's going to go back to that point over there, but we want it to go back to this point over here. So now we can check if get position x is not 0, then move east. Or it depends, it really depends on where we're at, but essentially cool. That's now going to go and take us back there. But as we can see that this is still running, it hasn't stopped. So this will run infinitely basically. Now we can, just for convenience, and also which is kind of like best practice in while loops or for loops or stuff like that, is to break out of that loop. So now we can check if get position y is equal to 0 and get position x is equal to 0, then we can just break. So this break will literally break out of this loop. So then none of this code will execute. So in practice, if we do this, so now it's over there, it will basically go there, and we can now see it has stopped the application. So if we do that, boom, goes back, perfect. Okay, so now we have a little bit of a convenience method there. just to basically make sure that, hey, like if we need to reset back to position 0, then we have that, and we can close that. So if we do anything like that, we don't have to open it up again. We can literally just click it and move to 0. So it's a little bit just for convenience, you know. Okay, now it is carrots time. So to plant carrots, we need to till the soil. So, and also let's just double check. If we go here, trade items dot carrot seed, and they said if you hover over it, there we go, trade cost. So it costs 1 wood and 1 hay to basically buy a carrot seed. Okay, so what then we need to do is to plant carrots, we need to till the soil, and then also what we need to do to plant them is to basically have seeds. Okay, so firstly, we're going to change this to have 1 row of hay, 1 row of bushes, and then the 3rd row is going to be our carrots. So looking at our code, while true, harvest, that's perfectly fine. This one then says if position X is greater than 0, then plant the bushes. So it will always plant bushes over here. So what we want to do is if the position X is equal to 1, specifically this row, the middle row, because remember everything is 0 indexed. This position X is 0 indexed. So we start at 0, 1, and 2. So at position 1, we want to plant bushes. And if get position X is equal to 2, yes, to 2, we want to plant. No, we don't want to plant. We first want to check, and we have a new function as well. If number of items, then we can pass through items dot carrot seed. That will give us the number of items that we have. If that is less than 1, then trade for items dot carrot seed. So that will give us 1 carrot seed every time when we have less than 1 carrot seed. So it's just basically a failsafe, because otherwise we can say trade every single time. But I just want to buy carrot seeds if we do need carrot seeds, because maybe something happens and we have more than enough carrot seeds and we gain an excess amount of carrot seeds, so then we don't actually need to trade for carrot seeds. Okay, perfect. So now this trade will only happen if the number of carrot seeds are less than 1. So if it's 0, perfect. Now we can also technically plant entities dot carrots, but that's not going to work because it said that basically we can only plant carrots on soil. This is turf. So just above that, what we can also do is say if the get ground type is equal to grounds dot turf, or we can say soil but not equal to soil, then till. So essentially now what we're doing is we're getting the ground ready here only for position x2, so 0, 1, 2, only if basically it is position 2 on x. If the number of items is less than 1, then trade for carrot seeds. If the ground is not soil, then till it, and then only plant it. And then basically do the movement as per usual. So let's see how that works. Okay, bushes. Okay, there we go. Double check. Yeah, there we go. And it's also trading for carrot seeds as we go along, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to plant them. Oh, that is one thing I have missed. If can harvest, then do that. That was my bad. There we go. Now we're actually getting carrots because the drone was actually picking up the carrots as soon as we could. But also now what we can see is sometimes it will skip over these, which is in some cases what we definitely want, but not always. So what we can do is just do that. So now it will wait for it to harvest and then move. So now if we go through with this, okay, perfect. And now it's going to wait here and then harvest it. Perfect. Okay, so that is carrots and basic functionality here, because essentially we are using a one-to-one to buy, well, a one-to-one-to-one to buy carrot seeds. So for every carrot seed that we buy, we need 1 bush and 1 hay bale. And essentially, so we have 3 hay bales, 3 bushes. That gives us 3 hay bales and 3 wood to buy 3 carrot seeds. So we'll always be equal in this regard. Okay, so let's just move this one over here. This is just for extra functions, basically. So let's hook it on here. Okay, so there is something else I also wanted. And essentially, in some cases, we might want to have a hay bale only farm to just get hay. We might just want a wood only farm just to get wood, and the same with carrots. So let's actually have a look at that. And so I'm actually going to copy most of the code here. And essentially, we'll do first a hay only farm. Okay. And then basically we want the movement. So if we can harvest, then harvest. But also, let's move. Perfect, perfect. Only if we can harvest and move. But what we also want to do is say if the get ground type is equal to grounds.soil, then till it. Because essentially we might just click this to then kind of reset all of this. So if the ground types are soil, so these ones, then till it, so grass can actually grow, or yeah, so grass can grow so we can get hay. Okay, and I think that is essentially all that we need for this one. So let's just double check that. So if we move to 0, 0, so it will harvest. Perfect. There we go. And so now we have a hay only farm. Perfect. Now we can add a new one to say a wood only farm. And we can copy that. And essentially I'll leave in the grounds of soil because we might go over from this one to this one, or vice versa. And we just need to make sure that we till the ground for whatever we need to do. Okay, so then we harvest it, and after the harvest we need to plant entities.push, and that's the only difference here. So let's move to 0. We'll do that, and now this one will do a wood only farm. And And I just noticed this one should not be movement only. This is a combined farm for hay, wood. I can't have more. Hay, wood, and carrots. So HWC, hay, wood, carrots. Perfect. And what we can do is just add a comment here. Combined farm for hay, wood, and carrots. Here we go. It's also always good to add comments to your code as well, because sometime later you might come back to it and be like, okay, cool, what the hell is going on here? Comments will help with that. And you can add comments anywhere to say, okay, cool, this is to check to plant carrots. This is to plant bushes, and then there we go, and movement. There we go. So see, it's a little bit neater. We know exactly where what is, and then basically bushes. There we go. And now we know exactly, okay, cool, what is where, so that we can do. And comments are just legit, just comments, as the name suggests. So this is not code that's actually executed. It's basically just for information purposes only. Okay, so we have 548. Well, let's stop that. Okay, so we have 552 wood, 1.1k hay, and 249 carrots. Let's see what we can do next. We can do some speed upgrades. That might be useful. Grass upgrades. Yeah. Expand upgrades. Ooh, yes, let's expand again. Okay, so now we have a 5x5. And actually, if we do the combined farm, we'll notice that it's basically, we're only doing for position X1, position X2, and so 1 and 2. We're going to leave this row out. So we need to do something about that. Because if we run this, we'll see that it's basically planting carrots now. Cool. And now we're going to get extra hay. So, which is also not a bother actually. But what we can also do is say, we can plant bushes on this side as well. So 1 or position 3, like so. And then we'll get extra wood actually. Okay, what I also want to play around with actually at the moment is the movement. Basically, essentially what I want to get right is having it move up, then to the side, and then down, and then to the side, up, and then to the side, down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new class over here, and I'll say movement test, and let's do a while true, because we want this to run infinitely yet again. And essentially we can use a function called mod. So we go to operators, essentially this. So it's a modular operator, also known as the remainder operator. It essentially divides the two numbers and then returns the remainder. You can also think of it as repeatedly subtracting the right number from the left number until the remainder is less than the right number. Okay, so basically for modulo 2 evaluates to 0 because basically there is no remainder. 5 modulo 2 is evaluates to 1, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. Okay, so what we can do with that is we can say if the get position X percentile, so modular, 2 is equal to 0, then move north, I think. We'll have to test it. Else, we move south. So let's test this quickly. Let's do that. Move there. So basically, if the position X is basically module 2 is 0, then move north. So here we are moving north. Let's just double check that. No, not that one. So move to 0. Let's just move north 1. This one. Okay. Are we moving up? Yes. So we're moving up. Okay, cool. Oh yes, there we go. But if we're moving 1 east, so now it's going to move south. There we go. And then the next row, it's going to move north again. And the next row, it's going to move south again. So that then means, that's perfect. Okay. So what that then means for us, we've got the up and down movement working. Perfect. Now we need to make sure that when do we move up? When do we move to the right, and when do we not move to the right? Okay. So we can then say if the just in brackets here, get position Y plus 1 equals the get world size, move east. Okay, so there we go. So basically what we're checking is if we get to this point over here, because the thing is also it's 0 index based, so 0, 1, 2, 3. Now the world size is going to return 4 because we have 4 blocks. So if the position Y plus 1 is equal to the world size, then let's move east. Then it's also going to move south after that. And then also, if we get to this point over here, we want to move 1 to the right, to the east. Else, or actually, we can't use else because otherwise it's going to move to the right each and every row. So we need to use an L if the get position Y is equal to 0, then move east. And we can actually simplify this just to say that, or that, move east. And we can remove all of that code. Perfect. So let's test it out. Okay. There we go, there we go, there we go, and perfect. That looks actually pretty decent. So with that movement test, what we just need to do then is we need to copy that, and we can replace this movement over here. So just there, and we need to move all of that up. Perfect. So let's move back to 0 and see if this works. There we go. Oh, that did not work because it skips this top one. Why does it skip the top one? Okay, so I've looked over this code, and basically I don't think what we're trying to do at the moment is entirely possible because without the use of variables. So the variables over here, because essentially the problem is I can make it work, but it's not going to be great because I would have to repeat all of this code here. So where this harvest is, I would have to repeat all of this code there as well. So for example, I would need to copy all of that code, do all of that there, and then it will work. But it's not that great. Maybe I'll leave it like that for now. So let's move to 0, 0, double check it. Yeah, so that basically works. So it's not that great because essentially we could use, for example, additional functions, which we don't have at the moment either, because we only unlock it over there. Then we can place all of this code in the function as a plant function, which we can call here and then also here, which is okay. Well, okay-ish. But also if we had variables, we could say, okay, cool, if we had moved to the right or not yet or something like that, then we can execute code depending on that as well. So for now, just for now, bear with me, this will have to do. And there might be other solutions that I am missing completely right now, but at the moment, this is what we've got. Okay, so carrying on from there, we'll just keep that on the side. Perfect. And so we have that, we have the hay only farm, the wood only farm. Okay, so the combined farm, that's doing its work. So let's have a look at variables. We can't, oh, for this we need pumpkins. Interesting. So if we want to expand to a 5x5, we need pumpkins. Okay. I don't think I want to increase the speed at the moment because we're already waiting here for carrots to sometimes, I think. Yeah, see, we're already waiting for carrots to grow. So I don't think another speed upgrade is going to do much at the moment. So let's get variables and we'll see what those are all about. Okay. So variables. Variables can be thought of as named containers that can hold a value. The equal operator is used to declare a variable and store a value in it. So essentially, we can say, okay, cool, we can assign the variable a to a value of 5. And we can also assign a value of can harvests, which is a boolean, either true or false, to the variable b. Then b will hold that value basically. And then we can do stuff with it. So for example, we can use it in the for loop, we can use it in the while loop, we can use it as as an if statement, all of that stuff. So that actually helps us quite a lot. Okay, so what can we do with that? And also, sorry, if the value is like for example a number, we can increment it for, let's say, if we needed a counter or something like that, we can use plus equal, minus equal, multiply equal, divide equal, module equal to basically do the same thing but shorter. So for example, I equals I plus 1, just to increment the number I with an additional 1, is literally the same as I plus equal 1. And we don't have to write all of that. It's a lot shorter and a little, yeah, it's just a little bit easier to read as well. Okay, so what can we do with that? And that's where it came in with the movement stuffs that I wanted to implement. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. I would just need to work it out quickly. Okay, so we are going to start a new file because there's going to be quite a bit in here. So we'll start new file called just test. Okay, well, test at the moment because we don't have enough space there. So we need to declare, I think, 1 or 2 variables because we need to check whether it's the top or not, and whether we moved to the east or not. So we can say is top, and we can default to false because we're always starting at the bottom here. And we'll just say that move east equals false because we haven't moved east yet. Okay, so let's start the while loop, while true. And essentially what we want to do is say, okay, cool, are we on that position of this here? So if the get position of y plus 1, we can just put it in brackets, move the mouse, is equal to the get world size, then basically say is top is equal to true, like that. Okay, else, or elif, get position y is equal to 0, then is top equals to false. There we go. So we're only setting the value of is top equal to true if we are on this position over here or this position over here. And this will help us to know whether we should move north or south, because then we don't need to basically do all of this. So at the moment, if we do that and we then say, cool, if is top, like so, then move south. So let's just add a comment here, movement, movement up / down. There we go. Else, because an is top is a boolean, so it can only either be true or false, basically, in this scenario. Otherwise, move north. Okay, let's double check this. There we go. So now it's just going to move up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, perfect. Now we need to check if we need to move to the right. So let's have a look here. We can say if the but with the is top, if that is, no, we can't use is top, because is top might be true over here when we're moving down, and it might be false here when moving up. So we can't use is top. We need to use this code again. So if that is true, then we need to move east. So that will move east when we get to this point over here. Yes. Okay. But that's still going to execute this code over here. Okay, we don't want to do that, because essentially if we move there, so let's check that. That's not too bad, I think. Let's just double check that. Or basically the get position y is equal to 0, then move east. So let's move there. Yeah, see, we don't want to do that. We want to move up. And at the moment, we're moving, yes, okay, cool. So, and that's then where this comes in. We need to then basically just say, and did move east. No, did move east is equal to false. So if we haven't moved east, then cool, then move east. And then if we did, then basically did move east. Did move east equals to true, because now we moved to east. And then if that's not the case, if we didn't move east, we need to then set it to false. Perfect. Let's see what that does. Okay, so that's still moving this way, which I don't want it to. Am I missing something? I think I missed brackets here. That's probably why. Let's check that. No. Okay, well, basically it's fairly simple actually. If I just say that move east to true, because essentially we were moving to the east straight off the bat. So if we basically set that move east to true with all of that, also we don't want to move when we have moved east. We need to execute all of the harvest code and all of that when we moved, and so we don't basically move and then move down. So that's why this continue is over here. So the continue is very similar to the break, but essentially the break breaks out of this while loop, and the continue just ignores any other code that follows, and basically will just continue or restart the loop to some extent. It will just stop all of this and start from the top again. But now, if we run this, we can see it goes perfectly as how I wanted it to. There we go. Okay, so now we just need to incorporate all of the harvesting code. And that would be over here. So here we can say if can harvest, then harvest, like so. And also within here, what we want to do is we want to take all of this code and pop it into there. There we go. And that should be it. Let's test it. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Okay, so we've got a little bit more complicated movement going. Oh, what? Oh, yes. Okay, cool. So that's this part over here now. So it's actually skipping over some carrots because it's not finished growing yet, because essentially the movement is not in the scope of this if can harvest. So to do that, if we really want to do, like, I don't mind it being like this at the moment, because essentially we're still gathering more wood while we are waiting for carrots to grow. And with this also, what we can now do is we can go and increase our speed. So now it's going to be a lot faster, and we're going to gather all of the rest as fast as possible. But essentially the bushes still grow faster than the carrots, so we will still have an excess of wood and hay, and we won't have a shortage of carrot seeds. So that actually kind of works. Okay, just a quick note while editing, I noticed a mistake that I have made. Essentially this is top with all of this code, and all of this code is actually not needed, because what I did here with this modular 2 does all of that already for me. So I can literally half my code, well, half this, the movement code for up and down. And essentially the reason why I'm saying is, saying that is essentially we're checking, did we reach the top? And if we did, then go down, but basically start going down. And we're obviously doing the movement east already as well. So then we'll move up, move east, or east, then down, up, so on and so forth. But essentially, so if we check this, this goes up, right down, right up, right down, and then back to start. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. Now, if we take this code and we move it just down here, and we literally take this out, so I'm just going to comment it out so that you can see that all of that we don't need, all of this we don't need, and all of that we don't need. So now we only have this for movement. So we don't have the extra variable or anything like that. We do that, same result. So yet again, that's why I'm saying there are so many ways to accomplish the same thing. Some are longer than others, and I'm pretty sure someone else will even figure out a better way of movement, and that's also perfectly fine. And if they tell me, cool, then I'll learn from the experience. That is what programming is at the end of the day as well, is you constantly learn new things. Okay, that's it. Okay, perfect. And I think that is where I'm gonna leave it for today. Yeah, so we've basically got a new combined form going. So let's just do that. We'll copy all of this code, replace all of this. We'll actually replace only all of that. What did I miss? Oh, it's all of that. Okay, cool. It's fine. Okay, so then this one can then be deleted. Perfect. And this is our main class now. So combined form for hay, wood, and carrots. We've got, so here's all of the code. If you're doing this as well and you basically would like to have this movement as well, here's all of the code. In this video, I obviously also explained how everything works. So just take it step by step. And yeah, so if you can improve this, by all means, like seriously go and do it. I'm just taking it very step by step to obviously cater for the audience that don't know programming and maybe would like to get into it or don't understand it. That's essentially why I'm taking this step by step. But also, like I said, there's a million ways to do something. So my way might not be 100% correct, and that's fine. That's really, really fine. I will improve this as we go along. And yeah, so, but on that note, guys, if you like this video, please feel free to leave a like. And if you're not subscribed, please feel free to subscribe to stay updated with the series. But have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you in the next episode. Cheers.